Hello, Vested community. Guess what? It's Thursday. Again.
Coach D, what's up, baby?
Hey. Hi, Jamar. Hi, Vested.
What's up? What's up,
This is my friend Jamar. This is my wife, Rebecca. This is me, Damien. And today we inspire, create, and empower. This is our show, Vested. So,
boom.
Jamar.
What's up, man?
Sometimes we bring guests on here, and I'm comfortable with that because then I got to fire at the guests and make them really think and feel and be vulnerable. But I guess I got a little confession. I'm going to do it. So it's not like I'm afraid to do it. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily super psyched on being extraordinarily vulnerable either. Just like the next guy. But for whatever reason, I guess I feel a calling to it. I feel there's somewhat of a, call it a duty, if you would, within me to be able to express myself in a way that is coherent enough to be able to share. So I guess that's where the whole writing thing comes from. I don't really love it, Jamar. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's like pulling teeth because I really got to look at the parts of myself that.
Hey, Coach D, hold on. Let's back up. When you say writing, people don't even know what you're talking about. Tee it up. What do you mean? What do you mean writing? What are we talking about today?
I don't know, man. This is gonna blow my whole cover.
Are you a blogger? Have you written a book before?
Yeah.
Are you an author?
I am. You can buy my book on Amazon.
Come on. Wait.
I do so much living and moving and thinking and talking that it just, I don't know, to sit down and write a book. Everything's backwards in my head anyway, man. I'm too fast. So one day somebody was like, hey, man, you should write a book about your life. And I was like, why would I do that? And they're like, because it'd be interesting. And I was like, yeah, I'm crazy. So how am I going to write, man? That'd be really hard. And I don't know, man. Sometimes in life, well, a lot of times in life, when people look at me and they say, well, I mean, are you trying to tell me that you're scared and it'll be tough and that's why you don't do it? And I'm like, well, yeah, fine. I'll write a book, man. So I wrote a book. And not only did I write a book, the incredible part about it was the all different directions part was how it was created.
So is that the name of the book?
Yeah, all different directions. So the book is named All Different Directions, but
come on,
I tend to digress. We're going to talk about that next week.
Yes, we are.
Forced me to do it and be an author, writer, guest next
week. Next week, we're talking about all different directions. We're going to highlight Coach D in his book, Life Journey, and we're going to inspire you to put some pen and paper and go out there and write your book. Vested. Okay, back to you, Coach D.
Okay, now here's the thing, Jamar. This is one of the reasons why I wrote the book, is because life goes in all different directions. It's never a straight line. If you don't have a pen and paper, how are you going to write? What if you don't have a word processor? What if you don't have a computer? Go to the library. I wrote my book on my iPhone in the notes section in the middle of the jungle, Jamar. So find a way. That's what the book's about. And that's what today's topic's about. Wow. So
what are we talking about today, man?
My buddy Guns. Okay, so
what's up, Gunner?
This is one of the most ridiculous animals you will ever have a chance to meet. He's gone on. He's no longer with us. But this right here is my buddy, Gunner Juarez Mena. And Jamar, we helped each other in this life in ways that were highly uncomfortable. And they took a very long time to be able to figure out how it fit. And I mean, when you lose anyone, anything, there's this feeling in your heart that's uneasy. And it's taken me some time to figure out how to process it because the relationship that I had with this dog was really bittersweet. So I'm going to talk about the blog tonight on the show, but I'm obviously can't give away all the juicy details because I want everybody to read it or read it if you're moved to read it. But there are 6 heart virtues that I went through. And Coach one G, of the times Coach, when I was...
Coach G, just like you do to our guests, you're moving way too fast.
Yeah, my man.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Bring it back, baby.
Okay, so how long you been blogging for?
Okay, the blogging experience.
Where did the inspiration come for that, man?
I honestly, blogging, the inspiration for blogging, it was COVID, because I had a friend that had written a series of 6 blogs, and what he did is he mapped it out. He said, okay, everybody, I understand that we're in a very uncertain time right now. What I'm going to do, because I know a lot of researchers, I know a lot of scientists, I know a lot of people on the front line. I'm going to give you the best frontline statistics that you guys should all know. And he was really upset at the very beginning, because he's like, guys, you don't understand. This is serious. This is like serious, and we need to be taking it that way. This whole mask thing, this whole quarantine thing, the more we take, and I'm like, okay. So I started reading his blog, right? And he did a very, very good job of nailing it, like a series of 6, where he was doing all of the science, all of the details, all the info. And I was like, okay, I mean, I love that he's doing that. And as hard as he's going, as much as he's pushing himself,
he was vested.
Yes, he was vested. But I could see in his work that it was very black and white. It was very good black and white. But at the same time, like,
are you talking about me and you?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, man, my life matters, bro. Don't come at me like that. Just don't share it.
All lives matter. Bro. All lives matter, bro. All lives matter.
Are we getting in trouble? We're going to kick off E3.
All lives matter, bro.
I love everybody, okay? I'm allowed to say stuff like that because I love everybody.
All lives matter, man.
There we go. They do. Hey, listen, your life matters, Jamal. I love you, okay? Thank you. Rebecca, your life matters. I love you, okay? These are my people. We got ourselves a nice little triangle here. So we are the best.
Back to the story. So you saw the power of this blog experience, and then from there, where'd you go?
Color, man, color. And a lot of times I go too fast, and there's too much color in my life, and I'm like a bad '80s painting or something. But he was doing such a good job doing the X's and O's, the black and white, that I looked at it and I said, we gotta fill this with spirit. We gotta. Okay, so all of the things that we're watching out for so we don't get sick and that we're responsible for, that's great. But what about honoring life? What about saying, okay, well, listen, things happen and everything, but what am I going to do now? What am I going to do when I break my neck? What am I going to do when I lose my job? What am I going to do when my marriage fails? Like, what are we going to do? So in my search to try to find meaning. Hey, Chris, thanks, man.
What's up, bro? Man, Chris, look at you.
Hey, everybody, Chris Longevity. This guy owns his own gym, and he's a super trainer. If you don't want to get in really, really good shape, then don't go see him, because he will put you there, and he will definitely motivate you.
You know Chris Long?
My man, Chris Long, my man.
What? Man,
yeah, man.
I met Chris through one of my best.
Chris.
Bro, hey, Coach D, we don't want to get out too far in the tangent, but I met the amazing Chris through one of my best friends, Trent Frasina, years ago. And I got nothing but love for that dude, Chris Long, because he has that vibration, right? That vested heart vibration, putting out positive energy, positive light in the world, impacting lives. Mr. Long, long time no see, bro.
Yeah. See how small the world is, Chris? There you go. And Jamar. So I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that. Bro, that's how you get in and get a commercial. You just come in and you just chime in and we just highlight.
Yeah, it is. He's a marketing genius, Jamar. That's how he does it. He just shows up and it happens. He's like Chuck Norris.
Ah, that's awesome, man.
So anyway, Chris, thanks for dropping in, bro. Thanks for saying hello. All right, and now I've officially forgot what the heck.
No, man. With the blog, man. The blog. Back to the blog. The color, and then you said, "Hey, let's paint this thing with the canvas."
Okay, so the reason why, the feeling. So if you have the information, that's great, but we've all read a motivational book and then put it down on our coffee table and then went right back to doing the thing that we needed to read the book for. So it's, what is it that's within us to be able to have the gusto to keep going? Like, why? So I'd like to share real quick before we get into my story, an example of what I'm talking about. Maybe I talked about my other buddy before, but I stopped by at the bank last week, and I'm friends with the bank manager, a real good guy. And he said, I have one of the coolest jobs in the world. I mean, he gets to manage the money of some of the most wealthy people in all of California, out in Costa de Casa and so on and so forth. He goes, but the coolest part is when I go home now, I'm in this headspace where I'm starting to recognize that it's important in life to find things that bring you joy. So I bought myself a keyboard, and this guy does serious banking that matters to basically keep people's lives together all day long. So it's super important. And then goes home pulls out his keyboard and has fun. Man, okay, you got to have both, man. You got to be able to pay the bills. You got to be able to be serious. You got to be able to get up and be motivated to provide and add to the I am we are process. But at the same time, you still got to be able to fill yourself up. And there's that little kid in all of us, Jamar, that sometimes we forget. And that's why I wanted to do the show tonight about Gunner. Gunner, my dog. Gosh, man. I mean, if you guys have seen that show, Marley and Me, he was like that on steroids. Like, he was just the dog of all. I mean, I loved him. I didn't know it was like my heart there. Like, but and then he passes, right? And then when he did, it made me feel this absence. And then since I'm in this flow state right now, Jamar, and since I'm moving towards a better me, a better way, I found a way to be able to look at some of the things that weren't so comfortable and to gain serious value in my relationship, both with myself and with my dog.
Hey, no pun intended. Were you guys mad dogging right there?
Oh, I mean, most of the time. That was a genuine look. Listen, he did something horrific, and I was.
Wait, tech team, can we see that picture again? Can we see the Mad Dog 2020 picture again?
Dude, that was it. I'm telling you, that guy had a way with me. That dog, bro. That dog. I love him.
Hey,
I miss him. I don't miss him, but I miss him.
Hey, Vested community, how many dogs do you know got a middle name?
Juarez, it's because that was his gang name. He got jumped in. That's how he got the middle name. Like,
Gunner Juarez Minna.
Yeah, you know how like assassins, John Wilkes, like he was that intense of a dog that he needed to get a middle name. So, all right, hey Jamar, before I just am distracted the whole time, and I'm really not about this because let's hit the appreciation and humility part, but let's create first. That's where the creation starts. Let's come now.
Inspire, man. Inspire.
Oh, see? Okay. I'm inspired.
That's why we talk about inspire. What started the blog inspiration, right? Well, how did you get to that vibration of putting the message we're here to talk about today is your most recent blog about Gunner Juarez Minna. And so we were just bringing the Vested community in of what inspired you to start that blog. And that's much respect to you, brother, for you writing your book, All Different Directions. We're going to talk about next week, but we're here to talk about your most recent blog, putting that out there, following your heart, letting go. And that's where you're talking about.
So let's get now inspire. Inspire. All right, Jamar, I want you to kick this off because, oh, you know what? How about this? Okay. Within me, like I was telling you, there's the little kid, and the little kid needs to get filled up. So tonight, I got a couple of cartoons that I put, and I think we'll drop one in the Inspire section, and the Create section. But to just get a little kickoff so that we don't have to just stare at our two faces, and then I'll tell you about my dog and appreciation and all that. So, my little, will you please put in the first cartoon? Okay. See, man, cartoons are cool, bro.
Man,
they get a little
teared up
on the inside. It's a simple concept, but
Coach D, I was like this, bro. I was like, oh,
right. So
that's so good.
Why follow your heart right now, Jamar? Why 6 heart virtues in the middle of what we're all going through? Why do it after I'm trying to process my dog dying and how I might not have been the best dog owner to him, but I gave him my very best, and it ended up being a lot different than I thought it would be. Dude, whenever something leaves, whenever there is a change, there's a processing that goes down. And in doing that processing, it really makes you reflect on yourself and how you responded to certain things in certain situations. So when I first met my boy Gunner, it wasn't a comfortable thing. Like, it was in one of those puppy chop shops, and we were both in bad shape. And the opportunity to be able to go beyond what I was comfortable with is really how he entered my life. And it was one of those things where it was a connection that it was almost something I couldn't walk away from. Let's just say that maybe you know the right way or what you should be doing in life, and maybe you're complaining about all this stuff that's happening, but when you go to sleep at night, or when you're taking a shower, or when you first wake up, like, that soft voice on the inside lets you know, and if you're listening, like, it'll guide you, man. And that voice guided me to this ridiculous dog, bro. Ridiculous. Oh my God. That's another one. Okay, so that's another one of those almost like stone cold gangster stares where he had just probably, okay, so he liked to eat her underwear. He liked to you name it, man. He would tear up holes. He would jump on the bed, pee on the bed to let us know that he was upset. He would dig holes, he ate carpet, man. It was just like, he made that Marley dog look like, there was one time where he'd had these tornado spin sessions where he'd spin so hard and fast, and one time he hit the mirror and broke the mirror. It was like a $300 mirror, and I was like, dude, he's trying to hit his tail.
Gunner was really gangster.
Are you red? I don't want to talk anymore. What you think?
I mean, how come we didn't call him Gangster Gunner?
Why do you think his middle name was Juarez?
Oh man. Hey, Coach D, you got way more patience than I got. But look at Icy.
Patience is not something I was born with, brother. It just is not. I've been blessed with the opportunity to earn it.
Oh man. And so little man, I'm obviously this life force, right? I mean, animals have spirits too. Animals are energy too, right? They bring vibration and frequency into the world. And for all you pet owners out there, whether it's a dog like Gunner, Juarez, Minna, or whatever animal is near and dear to your heart, you know what we're talking about. But you think about the impact that we all have when we experience the love and the relationship, despite however that relationship is with Tasmanian devil or any kind of other animal, right? Because I read that in your blog, I could just visualize him, because you think about the Tasmanian devil, Coach D, like when he comes through just causing havoc. And that was little Gunner Juarez, but he obviously had an imprint on your heart, man. You know, he made an impact in your life and in your heart. And it sounds like he crossed your path. You guys crossed paths with each other at a time where it was an important place for both of you.
100%, man. And I think that the same thing happened with these heart virtues. Like I was just searching for something, and I don't even remember. I do remember where I read it first, but it was one of those like stretches of your imagination. It wasn't. It was kind of like one of the Dan Brown books where it was a real big leap to try to understand where it was all coming from. And those 6 heart virtues hit me in a way that I don't want to say I didn't understand them because they made sense in concept, but I was able to really reflect on how they felt as I lived through them with the whole Gunner situation. And when I saw that video that we just played, there's something about finding a way to be able to appreciate things in a different way, very similar to how that dog did with the bird. At first it was a problem. At first it was intense and he didn't know how to react. And oh, cool, chicken, you're a rock. Okay, so these are the 6 heart virtues. And there is something called the Wingmakers or the Ancient Arrow Project. And it's a bunch of interviews of this guy named Dr. Neruda. And they expose some really cool information about how to figure out how to live from the inside out and to be able to discover yourself and who you are and what it is that you do and what you like. Do you play the keyboard after you're done banking? Do you put a basketball in your backpack and drive to the park and shoot like Allen Iverson when no one's there because you have fun doing it? Like, so to me, when you look at that cartoon that we just watched, when that bird landed there and it looked like it was a problem, and at first the dog didn't know how to react or what to do, and then a perspective came that showed him how to see things differently. And once he did, he could respond in a different way. So one of the things that I was thinking that I wanted to put in my blog that is a response to my friend Jim's excellent research about the X's and O's is that we can find this opportunity where there's this very difficult thing to understand, whether it's COVID or the loss of something or Black Lives Matter or whatever it is, and we can look at it, or at least try to look at it in a way that we're not used to seeing things. And when that dog saw that bird needed to feed its kids, it changed everything. And then once that happened, the relationship that the two of them had changed completely. But it had to first humble the dog to recognize, okay, what I did was off. And now that I have this new information, what am I going to do with it? And then he created a relationship that was even better than the feeling that he had at first when he experienced the frustration. So when I first met Gunner and I'm paralyzed and I don't know how to have a relationship with a dog when you're paralyzed, I was scared. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was so scared that I came up with reasons in my head to do something else. And man, when I looked at that little dog in the eyes and he looked at me, I was like, God, I couldn't leave. There was something about that little baggy-ass dog that he got me, man. And it was like, it wasn't his suffering. It was the gaze that he had at me past his suffering. And I think that's where we're at right now, Jamar. We have no idea how all this is going to pan out. Some of us have lost some people. Some of us are still scared. There are double masker shields while driving still, Jamar. And man, dude, it's a cold. Like, and yes, you could die. But if you do, how well are you living? And you need to be able to look at the things that might have tripped you up and be able to recognize, hey, man, maybe if instead of looking at this trip up as the worst thing that ever happened, I look at it as something that just happened. And I leave myself open to see maybe what's going to happen next and how I can look at it differently. But hey.
Man. Coach D, I really appreciate you bringing this information here because I'm learning as you're sharing about the 6 steps here of the interrelationships. What's the proper articulation of it? Description of what you're talking about?
The 6 heart virtues? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the 6 heart virtues. And you think about what you're sharing, man, because that cartoon that you just showed as we're about to jump into create, but you're definitely right how when you look at the beginning where he thought the bird was the intruder, right? And how many times in life do we encounter other people where we assume that they're there for one reason and we find out that actually there's a greater reason, a blessing that they're there, of why they're there, but we don't see that initially, right? And that's what through the humility part. But man, as you're sharing that with Gunner J, can we call him Gunner J?
Kenny Juarez. He was one of those ones, man. He earned everything into the ad. All these
Juarez. I was thinking Juar, like war, right? Like, is that?
That's how I spell it.
Bro, he's Gunner War, bro. That's why he was just crushing it. He had war in his middle name.
Oh, man, something like that. I don't even know. Juarez, whatever, dude. It's kind of crazy.
But back to the humility,
right? Let's create. I got something for create.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so let's do the same thing. I like that. I just sometimes, man, like I said, it just comes up within me, and I have it to share, and then I got all I don't know. And so let's go to the cartoon now, and I like kind of rallying off of that. So can we play the second one?
Are you getting emotional?
Sorry, my dog, bro.
Are you getting emotional?
It's my dog.
Oh, let's create. Let's create some emotion.
Hey,
Wow.
all right, so
yeah, you're really getting emotional today.
How are we supposed to express compassion when we can't see things clearly? When we have a fragmented reality that is so different from everything that we are used to seeing? How are we supposed to do it, Jamar? And my answer, what I came up with my map and this I am we are thing and this whole needing to believe, we got to find a better way, dude. We have to create a better way. It's in all of us. It's in all of us. You could see in the very beginning of that cartoon that there was a certain joy in life that little girl was experiencing. When she got on the light pole and she was spinning around, it didn't matter if things were perfect or not, even though she fell. The fact that she was able to have fun and enjoy life, that's what we're here to do, man. So if we lost our job or if a relationship fails or a dog dies, we got to understand that the fact that we have the opportunity to be able to experience that, the appreciation factor, like we started off with the first heart virtue, there's something there, man. And then to be able to experience compassion through a broken lens, we have to be willing to see things differently. And it's like, I have to be willing to see my relationship with my dog that was so frustrating, so difficult, So different, man. Like I couldn't lean down and pet him. I never took him for a walk without somebody hooking up the leash. I didn't feed him. I didn't get him his water. Who did he even know to love? Of course he was a spaz, man. All he could do is see me be a spaz, and I did nothing to show him anything otherwise. So it's like, for me to be able to have the valor to find it within me, to keep going when he was such a pain in the ass, and I must have been a pain in the ass to him. But to find the compassion within myself to continue to love somebody because I knew he needed it, we all need to do that with ourselves right now, because it's very, very difficult what we're going through. It's hard, man. We're sitting around waiting for stimulus checks and not knowing if we're going to be able to pay our bills. And we've seen more of the people that we love than we've ever seen in our entire lives, you know, and we're all struggling, man. And how in the heck are we supposed to look at the situation and find compassion for ourselves and other people when all we're doing is struggling? We got to look at it differently, dude. We got to find a better way, our better way as individuals. And then when we can fill ourselves up with that joy, we can share with other people. And also be so angry and hog up all the toilet paper. You know what I mean? That Jamar, you make me talk about my blog, man. I like writing it down and walk away, bro. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, this is you're talking about something that's near and dear to your heart. And when we do that, we don't need people to be in agreement with our feeling, right? And so some people may be in agreement with the message we share, and some people may not. But as long as we are staying true to self and leading with our heart, following our heart, and doing the thing that we feel we're called to do, that's what it's about. And today we're here to honor Gunnar Juarez and his relationship with you and the impact he had in your life. But I like how you're tying it around and relating it to the COVID reflection and what we're going through as human beings, because the vibration out there right now, I think in this time we're in, we need to give each other more space and more grace, more patience and more love, more compassion, right? More humility, right? There's so much we have to do more than we've ever done right now, because there's people like you're articulating and explaining about with Gunnar, right? What you've experienced and the loss of this life energy. But there's people out there who are experiencing what you're explaining in just different areas of their life right there. And
I agree 100%. And then, like, you know how when you're creating something, and when you're channeling it through yourself and you're cashing in your suffering for something bigger, something better, and turning it into something, you know, that it might not have ever started off to be, but that you use that energy to make it something amazing. Like, it's hard to kind of chop it down and see really what's happening and how it's unfolding. And I just, I don't know, man. It just comes out of me sometimes. And I really appreciate when you can kind of be able to wrap your head around it in a way that brings it all back down to earth. Because to me, it was an alignment situation. I think that everybody right now is looking for an answer. And if you'll read my blog, I go through that. And I don't have the answer for everybody. I think that each individual has something within them that they bring to the table. And Jamar, I mean, I don't try to avoid God, and I don't try to avoid Jesus Christ on this channel, but what I try to do is come up with a universal way to be able to connect with people. Like, I pray to God and Jesus Christ to be able to give me the strength and power to be able to do that. But when we come on here, it's almost inevitable that we always loop back to the same thing, because it's faith, man. I mean, it's belief. I mean, if I didn't have that in the times where I completely doubted myself, I don't know where it would have came from, Jamar. And it's like, but you know, if we can skip over that just for a hot second and call it the universe, call it energy, call it prana, chi, whatever, we all have this life force within us. And if we can be able to harness it and build it and fan the flame of our passions, then we can share it. Look at somebody like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Chris Farley or Chris Tucker. Like, these people, I mean, Eminem, like, they found what happened to them as an opportunity to be able to share how they dealt with it with the world. And they're millionaires and they're extremely successful, but then they go in these waves up and down because they stay in these patterns. And now all of a sudden they have all this money, but they didn't necessarily go into their heart and figure out how to work it all out. And I think that's what this writing is. That's where this comes from, because it's not comfortable. I don't like writing. I mean, I have trouble sitting down and being still and focusing on my thoughts. I mean, gosh, listen to me talk, blah, 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 you know, but when I sit down and I write and I really try to condense it into something that's actually going to mean something, I try to aim for empowerment. Yes, I did that on purpose. So I don't want to talk much more. I want to do the empowerment thing, and then I'll go be uncomfortable myself, not in front of the camera.
Hey man, I want to tell you I love you, and I appreciate your energy and your desire to help other people, because everything that you're doing in your life, despite the adversity, is you want to put a frequency out there to help other people, man. So like if we just strip everything away and look at what the intent is, that's why I want to talk to Vested Community for a quick second. Is what is your intent with what you're doing out there? What if we all wanted the best for each other? Because every single person that we see in the world today, whether successful or not successful, healthy or not healthy, right? What they had, the haves and have-nots, however you want to break it down, whatever culture, whatever religion, whatever background, everyone is going through something right now in some capacity, right? And just having that more compassion for each other and looking at it like the dog did when he saw, she was trying to feed her children. It was a totally different perspective versus him thinking that she's coming to steal the owner's bait. And what if we had that lens of compassion to see what people were going through, man? So I appreciate you sharing and being vulnerable, man, because, that's real talk right there. Here in Vested Community, we're here to be raw and open and right in the moment. So I appreciate you, bro. I know we're about to hop over to Empower, but I wouldn't be here if you didn't inspire me. I wouldn't be here if you weren't willing to create this moment with me so we can share it. And I wouldn't be here if you weren't someone in my life who empowers me to do more, because I got massive respect for you. So I'm always going to come back to that place, man, and tee it up to you. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing before we drop the empowerment banner, I want to, I like
recap
where you went with the first video with the dog and a bird, but another thing too that we got to realize is that what happens when your life has been shattered? What happens when your happy has been broken? Your most important thing has become tainted in a way that you looked at it as though it offered no more value, and you put it in the trash can and you walked away from it. We got to be able to have that valor within our heart as well, the humility and everything else, to be able to look at it and create the different way by understanding how to continue to move on. And the reason I brought up the whole faith and belief thing is that if you believe that there's still opportunity in something, even though it's not the same as you thought it might be, and you give it a chance, that opens up a perspective that you might not have seen before. And it might not be that specific thing. Something tells me that little girl in the future went out and bought another camera. But something also told me that she didn't throw that broken one away, because then it stood for something to her more than just a camera that took pictures. It was a metaphor for what we can do when we overcome ourselves, when we look past the things that hurt and utilize them and trade them in for something bigger and something better. And I think the only way to do that is to be able to have faith and believe that it's possible. That way you can fill yourself up with that energy, because when your camera breaks, man, and you throw it away, that's definitely not the type of energy where you're like, yeah, I'm going to go create this. No, you're bummed, man. And I think we need to be able to honor that energy within us when we're hurt. Like, this blog is a way for me to honor the energy that I had within me of the guilt that I felt that I wasn't the best dog owner, man. And it's like that I didn't do my very, very best, but then I had to get past that thought to be able to try to understand that there's something greater for me to be able to take away from it. So let's do the thing, and then we'll.
Can you, before we get there, can you wrap up for us? Can we maybe pull up the six virtues again? And hey, tech team, is there a way can we expand this and can we make it bigger a little bit?
A little zoom.
Yeah, there we go. But Coach D, walk us through what you're talking about and tie it together with the blog that you're explaining.
Okay, so I started with the 6 heart virtues, and I went through my relationship with Gunner, and then when I met my wonderful wife, and when I met my wonderful wife's dog.
Hey, Coach D, I see. Can you point at the 6? So is everything tied to love? So is the 6 virtues on the outside?
100%. It's 100%.
Okay. Gotcha.
Following your heart, obviously, you could desire cocaine, and I don't think that heart virtues would work the same way. So, or deceit, or food, or neglect, or abuse, and it doesn't fit. So this is one of those things that's really about light and the light within you. So I'm not saying that there's not a need for other things and balance in the world, and there's plenty of other than things, if you know what I mean. But I don't know, man, that's not what the show's about. That's not what I'm about. And that's not what you're about. So my focus is on love and how I can utilize my love for myself to be able to build myself up and be able to also include the rest of the world in the I Am We Are process, so that we all can kind of like find this alignment and do it together.
So you're saying love is the foundation.
All right. So appreciation, humility, compassion, valor, forgiveness, understanding. So if you have the love, like that little girl of life, to be able to want to go out and be able to capture it and to be able to create. If you have the love of being able to figure out how to look at things differently, how to be able to appreciate what you have in times where things are very uncertain, when you can be able to look at yourself through humility and recognize that there's an opportunity there to be able to learn by being vulnerable. If you can really understand that compassion is the way, and sometimes in order to be compassionate, valor is involved. Ask the little chicken. She's the superhero. I'm only the hero. Okay, you guys see my face, okay, and I'm sitting here with all this wonderful stuff, but a lot of this alchemy comes from the living that I'm doing and the way that I'm being able to artistically put myself out there. And I would not be able to do that without the complete circle of the divine masculine and the divine feminine working together. And that is, so you see one half here, but when the sun goes down and things are dark outside, somebody else is running the show, okay? My wife is the one that runs the show and nobody's looking. Tech team is the one that makes this stuff so amazing, and all these things that pop up and the videos that come. I mean, you should have seen her 30 minutes before we started this, okay? Run around like a crazy to be able to make this work. And yes, the lighting is right. And yes, the audio is good. And yes, the videos come up. So did we do the empowerment banner? I'm just talking, man.
Wait, where can they find the blog at?
The blog? It's at needtobelieve.net.
Oh.
Or will be, I say, it will be in needtobelieve.net. What's today? Today's Thursday. It will drop tomorrow. Tomorrow the blog drops.
Awesome.
So the first 4 of them can be seen at needtobelieve.net. The final one the 5th one will be seen tomorrow. And there's one more that I'm going to write. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know what about. I don't even really want to do it. But
wow,
I have to.
I think you do. I think you want to do it.
It's not one. And my friend Jim, he came up with a series of 6 and completed it. I've now completed 5, and I don't pull up right at the finish line and not finish. So
come on,
that's gonna happen. So
let's
do the empowerment banner.
Let's finish and go to empowerment. Okay, let's go.
So last 2, forgiveness and understanding. 2 of the most. Did we do? Oh, there it is. Okay, so. Forgiveness and understanding. I don't have a fancy cartoon, so I'm gonna have to just fly by the seat of my pants here. You got to figure out first how to forgive yourself. And so, Jamar, I pride myself on coming up with this idea of having a map, because I wish I'd had it before I went through this. It would have made things maybe a lot easier if I could have followed it. But everybody's trying to do the self-help thing and the funnel, and it's my seminar, and if you just give me $17,000, you'll be healed. And to me, I wanted to be able to come up with a way to share what it is that I went through, cash in all my suffering for the value of being able to help other people. And everybody looks, I want world peace and I want to help people. Yeah, great. How? Okay, so I was like, all right, let's start with a map. Okay, and in order to be able to use this map, you have to be mindful. M stands for mindful. A stands for awareness. When you get the awareness, you can start accepting things as they are, and then you can move towards purposeful action or life purpose. So to me, forgiveness and understanding were these 2 heart virtues that could have been the most difficult to be able to do. Because as I was going through this, I had to be able to forgive myself for a lot of the things that I created. I was the reason for most of my problems. And a lot of times in life, I feel like I just put stuff on top of it, or I stayed too busy to deal with it, or I decided I would do it tomorrow, or the best part of me was never really accessed because of me, because I came up with reasons because I was doubting myself, or I was afraid, or had expectations that were violated. I had all these great excuses, and I was so rid. And finding a way to be able to see my life differently actually came in the reflection of understanding how these 2 dogs lived their lives. They were pets. They didn't really have a choice. I mean, they did. I guess they chose us. But at the same time, as they moved through their lives and as they adapted to the different circumstances that they just were dropped into. I mean, they were, they didn't say, hey man, I want to go live with somebody else. Hey, uproot me and just let me go. I don't want to be your dog anymore. And then come back in 7 years and we'll figure things out. No, man, they just had to respond. So to me, as humans, we do more than that. We throw up these defense mechanisms. We get angry. We get frustrated. We manifest these weird things on the outside and on the inside, and we have a real tough time letting go. And I think in order for us to be able to move on and find these mindful thoughts that are worth pursuing, we have to forgive ourselves. And a lot of times we have to be patient because it's not going to happen overnight. It took years and years and years and years to screw ourselves up like this. And if we really want to be the better self, we have to accept the idea that we didn't screw anything up. That was our process. We needed to do that so that we could learn, not life, ourself. When you learn yourself, then you can go out and live life because you actually see it for what it is. You're not just accepting things as they are or believing what people tell you or blindly moving through life without ever asking questions. But once you do decide to be mindful, once you do decide to wake up and accept the idea that there's more out there and that you have to demand it if you want to go do it, be ready to work, man. Because that's the understanding part. The understanding is that you're going to have to grind, Jamar. I mean, how many followers we have on this podcast? I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm vested. I don't care. I'm going to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing because I don't know, man. Some people watch it. Some people comment. My friend Chris Long just jumped up here and just recognized what we were doing. So
hey, Vested, this is the beginning. Woo!
But look, 35 episodes, 36 episodes. So it's not the beginning, Jamar. This isn't our first one. We've had many friggin' difficulties and didn't make it and failures. That's part of the game, man.
Coach D, 35 is the beginning if you compare it to 1,000.
So, I mean, when you know, right? When you know, I mean, when we picked the name for the show, we knew. When you and I decided we wanted to do a broadcasting show from our living room, from our office, we just knew that it was right. Rebecca knew that she wanted to be the tech team and that she could hold it down. And for whatever reason, we just did it. I don't really like writing. And now I've written 5 blogs and a book. So, I mean, okay, I guess I'm a writer, Jamar. And that's how I express myself.
I got a question for you,
people get value out of it, but I sure do. And
I got a question.
If it makes me a little bit better, if I can be a little bit happier, if I can enjoy life a little bit more, I add more value to every situation that I'm in. I'm not trying to be selfish, but at the same time, I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to add value.
Mm-hmm. Coach D, I got a question for you. What one, let's keep it very simple. What would you want to empower the listener, the viewer with in this message as we wrap up? Like what would you want them to take home and say, build on this, build on that? What would that be?
Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Jamar. Don't listen to Tech Team. Listen to yourself. Go inside and work it out. There are opportunities in every direction that you could possibly see. There are good thoughts to pursue, and there is happiness within you. The question is whether or not you want to pursue it or not. Do you believe in your better way? I don't want to talk anymore, Jamar. Wrap this up, the whole vested thing. Ask more questions, brother. That's all I got.
Man,
read the blog. Thank you, Tech Team. Thank you, Jamar. I love you both.
Hey, love you, bro.
I guess we're going to talk about all different directions.
Yeah, Lex.
You know, I play it like I'm not grateful, Jamar. I'm so grateful. You know what, Jamar? That book that I wrote, I put it on Kickstarter, and it was crowdfunded by people that believe in me. So I'm so blessed that maybe I should be a little bit more grateful. Maybe I should look at this with humility and accept the idea that I have the gift to be able to write and communicate.
Come on.
I'm grateful that I can do that. So
come on.
Here we go. We're learning more.
Man.
We are vested. Might as well toss it out there. So,
hey, well, Coach D, I love you, bro. Vested community. We're here. We're raw. We're organic. We're shining light. We're bringing perspective. Today, you know, we talked about Gunnar Juarez, you know, and the impact that he made on my brother D and the time that they had together. And obviously, you know, what those 6 virtues, how they related to the experience with Gunnar Juarez. I keep want to call him Gunnar G. I don't know why. He just feels so gangster. I want to call him Gunnar G. But here, think about it here. We're talking about love. You know, right now, that's what we all need right now. That's what the world needs right now. More love from all of us. And it's going to take more than just a few people talking about love. It's going to take all of us in our own way to put that vibration of love out there, to be the light, to see the light, to show the light, to give the light. And love's the foundation, you know, and we're always going to talk about the power here. You know, it doesn't matter what you believe. We love you, Vested, but I believe the creator of the universe, the one thing he wants us to do, the number one, he wants us to love each other. And so whatever you're going through right now, I want to encourage you to love yourself, love those who are supporting you, encouraging you, who are high-fiving you, who are believing in you, speaking into you. Forgive those people who hurt you in any way from the past and those things, and forgive yourself most importantly, and be the best light you can be. This is the only moment we have right now. The past is gone. We're in the present, and we're hopeful for the future. So vested community, it doesn't matter what you do. Here's the question. Are you vested?